Today I'm going to talk to you about the pros and cons of Edmonton winters. Hi, this is Melody Wilson with the Real Life team at Remax Elite. Thanks so much for coming back and watching this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the little bell to make sure you don't miss out on any of the new videos we put up every week. So, spoiler alert, I don't like Edmonton winters. I don't like winter, period. But I wanted to talk and run you through pros and cons list of our Edmonton winters. So let's start off with some pros of the Edmonton winters. Edmonton has some great Christmas lights. We have a lot of festive activities that happen in the winter months because we have a lot of winter months. It's great that we actually have some sort of entertainment during these cold times. We have had in the past, we've had the ice castles, which has been a really cool feature to check out with your family, go on a date night. That is a pro. So a con for Edmonton winters, I have so many, and I'm just gonna say some of them today. Those sub-zero temperatures are pretty insane and really cold. We could get down upwards of minus 40, almost minus 50 with wind chill. Yes, that word wind chill is one of my most hated things about Edmonton winters because the thermometer can say it's minus 25 degrees outside, which is still pretty cold because we're talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit. But then there's a wind chill factor. So it might be minus 25, but it might be another, it feels like minus 35 because of the wind chill. So wind chill is one of my biggest cons of Edmonton winters. Okay, I'm gonna break it up here because if I talk too much about just cons, it might scare you completely away, but maybe it's honestly for the best. It's all truth. So another pro for an Edmonton winter is all that winter activities that you can do. The snowshoeing, the cross-country skiing, there's all these fun things you can do. So you can invest in the sports equipment so you can actually enjoy this all winter long. The con is it is all winter long. We usually get our first snowfall in October, typically around Halloween, and then it doesn't completely melt away until the end of April or May. Sometimes we've had the snow melt away by March and had really nice Aprils, but we tend to have a long time. So if you're doing the math, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months of winter. And sometimes we get the odd snowstorm in May. Another Edmonton pro is that the city has a lot of things set up to enjoy the winters. So at Harlech Park, they have skating rink. They also have a cool skating rink that they've set up downtown. So there's lots of skating. There's stuff at the ledge grounds for skating. There's the ski hill here located in the city, the Snow Valley. But there's also Rabbit Hill that's like very close by. So those are fun things to do, and it's a pro of Edmonton winters. Here's another con. When you're out doing those things, careful you don't get frostbite. That's another con. Yes, you can get frostbitten. It's not just, Jack Frost nipping at your nose. You literally can lose fingers if you don't put your mitts on and put your hat on. You can freeze your ears, freeze your hands. You can freeze pretty much anything. So be careful, you have to dress appropriately in Edmonton winters. Another con of Edmonton winters is the first snowfall, people usually forget how to drive. They forget that we live in winter almost all year round, and so there's a lot of accidents that happen. The city sometimes doesn't even plow or put sand down at the very first snowfall, so it can be quite a bit of a mess on the roads. And because we live in Edmonton and we get a lot of snow, people still expect that you go to school, go to work. There is no such thing as a little bit of snow fell and now everything's shutting down. Nope, we do not have snow days here in Edmonton. We go to work and we're hardy Albertans and we go to work and school no matter what temperature it is. Your kids are even gonna probably play outside for recess. Up until a certain temperature, they still do go outside. So I believe it's maybe minus 20 or maybe even minus 30, I'm not quite sure, but they do still have a limit of kids going outside to play in the recess time. Well, here's a pro, and I think I'm kind of reaching here. Pro of Edmonton winters is you can actually use your fireplace in the house, make use of it instead of it just being a decorative item. Well, a con, another big con in Edmonton winters is that your bills are higher because you're turning up your heat to stay warm, of course, and so higher utility bills, higher cost because you want to stay warm. You're also going to pay more utilities because your electricity usage is going to go up. Why? Because it gets dark here. It gets dark really early. It starts getting dark around 4:30. So if you finish work at like 5 or 5:30, you're driving home in the dark. And if you're going to work early in the morning, you're probably going to work in the dark. So there's not a whole lot of sunlight, and that's not the greatest. So here's a pro for you. There is a lot of sunlight during the day versus being cloudy all the time. And so that is a pro of Edmonton winters. We usually typically have lots of sunlight, even though it's snowing. And the snow does look quite pretty and majestic and magical. So I don't know if this is a pro or con, you make the decision. There's a lot of shoveling to do because you are obligated to shovel by a certain time after the snow falls and hits the ground. It's a bylaw. The city tells you have to do it. So why do I ask if it's pro or con? Well, you don't need to go to the gym because you're going to be shoveling and it is some heavy snow a lot of times. But the con obviously is you're shoveling snow maybe multiple times during the day and the snow can get really high. We just recently had a dump of snow that was 20 centimeters. Another con of Edmonton winters is you have the chance that your car could die. What does that mean? The battery, if you didn't plug it in, it might actually not start the next day. If you are bringing your car in from another province, you need to check to see if it has a block heater. Yes, you have to have a block heater in order to plug in your car. And again, utility bills go up. You need to plug your car in when it's minus 30 overnight because that car will not start the next day. So that's another con. Another con of Edmonton winters is sometimes it's so cold, you obviously have to wear multiple layers, so you're spending more money on clothes. I'm usually wearing 2 pairs of pants to just keep warm when I'm going in and out to show houses. It gets really cold. A pro is that I guess you got a new winter look. You learn really quick what to wear and how to be fashionable, but sometimes being fashionable don't matter. You want to be functional to stay warm. All this being said, a lot of our really, really cold temperatures usually only last, we call them cold snaps, maybe 1 week at a time, maybe 2. We usually get a reprieve and then it's a little bit more mild for temperatures. Now, depending on where you're coming from or what you're used to, the mild winter temperature might still be pretty cold for you. However, mild is, I would say, 15 degrees and up is mild. You can still function and things still move. Your car is not going to be slowed down. You're not going to be freezing when you go outside. You can go in and take advantage of the skating and go and take advantage of the festivals that happen in Edmonton. When it is very cold, minus 25 and under, especially with the wind chill and the frost, you really can't do anything because you're stuck in the house staying warm instead of going outside freezing. Sometimes it's too cold to even shovel the snow. So yes, there's a lot more cons to the Edmonton winters. We all stay here because we work here and we love it here, and maybe we're a little bit delusional from all the cold, but we're also Albertans, and a lot of us usually are here because of family, and we love living here in the city. So hopefully that video helps. I don't know if I scared you off, but I'm just telling you the truth.